Today we're going to go ahead and learn how to design a Christmas ornament in Design2Cut. So the first thing we're going to do is start a new document. And then we're going to start with a circle. So we'll use circle key or C for shortcut. And we're just going to draw a random circle out here in the center. When we click to establish it, if we come over here, we can change its diameter. We're going to make its diameter 4 inches. And then we're going to just check it in and say OK. That'll give us our circle. And we're going to put a little top on it. We're going to draw a small rectangle. We're going to click to check it in. And we are going to make that rectangle 1 inch by 0.5 inches. And then we're going to say OK. We're going to cancel that, and we're going to come in here. Now, if you notice, our rectangle comes in as individual lines. So we do have to select all of them by clicking and dragging a box around it. We're going to bring it over until we get the dotted line that's coming up out of the center and the vertical constraint. And then we're going to bring it down until we are just a little bit inside the circle so that they overlap past the corners there. Once we have that done, then we can click and drag a box around everything. And we can come over here to the Weld Entities tool up here. And when we weld them, you'll see it gets rid of the overlap there between them. Now, I'm not a big fan of sharp corners, as you know. So we're going to come in, grab the Fillet tool. We're going to click on this point, and we're just going to put a small 0.1 radius fillet in there and hit enter. Check that in. I'll go around and click each one of these corners, and then click the F key, and then hit the enter key to fillet those corners to make them nice and round. Here we have our ornament. We're going to take and just click and drag a box around here. I'm going to hit the G key on the keyboard or come up here to the group tool on the toolbar. And that will just make that so if we click on it, we select the entire entity there. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring an image in for the center. So we're going to go over to Google, and we're going to go out to Google, and we're going to search for images. We're going to go to the image tool. We're going to search for something, whatever you want to put on there. I chose Christmas tree for mine. Okay, but these images here are not what we want. These are not going to work in our software. So the first thing we're going to do is grab the tools. That expands down this menu. I like to sort by black and white under color. And then I like to come under type and do clip art. This tends to yield me a lot of different types of trees and images that would work. An image like this would work. An image like this would work. An image like this will work. An image like this right here will not work so well. This is not really well suited to plasma cutting because of the way it's drawn in lines. An image like this would be difficult to work with. It's overly detailed. An image like this with holes, so you have to imagine negative and positive space, and so if we cut out all the black and the white is left, we're going to be left with a bunch of random dots of material that are left not connected to the outside of our ornament. So I chose this image, and then you're going to right click on the image when you choose one and go to Save Image As. I like to save it to my pictures, and I am just, I already have my image saved, but we'll rename it. I'm just going to rename it Tree. It wants to know if I want to replace it, so I'm going to say no. I'm going to say, I'll rename it, call it Ornament Tree. And you can search for anything. You can put mistletoe, you can put Santa's sleigh. You can put anything reindeer, anything that means something to you for your ornament. Back in Design2Cut, we have under the import, we have import tools, and if we click on this globe, we can import a silhouette. And when we do that, we come over here, tell it where our file is. We saved it in pictures. As you can see, I've saved a number of pictures here: the tree, the sleigh, Santa's hat, a reindeer, my ornament tree, and a number of images here that might work. These bells do not work real well. Line art like that gets a little bit difficult. So I'm going to pick my ornament tree, and if I zoom out here, you'll see it's creating a trace. Now, if the trace isn't real good, I can play with some of these intensity thresholds and segment quality. But quite honestly, mine's pretty good right there, so I'm just going to go ahead and check it in. That will give me a tree. I can click on, I can resize it as needed here in the corners to make it bigger or smaller. And I'm going to bring that over until I get my center snap. You'll see that red crosshair there by my cursor. I'll put that in there, and I'm just going to resize it until I like its size. Once I'm happy with what I have there, I'm going to go ahead and save. I'm going to go ahead and save this onto your P drive as where I would save it. And then I'm just going to call this my Christmas ornament. Okay, so now we're ready to send this over to the cam side. We've got our Christmas ornament all designed. So we're going to come up here and click the cam button. The first thing we're going to do here is check our lead-ins. So we're going to click and drag our lead-ins and make sure that we get them into the meat area of our designs. So we'll zoom out and we'll check the other ones, and this particular star one doesn't look too bad. You know, had it been in a place like this, this is obviously bad. That's outside of your star. So we want to drag it around by the base, and then we can come click on the other end and drag it around. If we want to change the type of lead in, again, we can come out here and go to line and say okay, and it would change that to a line type lead in. We could drag that down where we wanted it, or we can do an arc like it was and leave it there. We'll check our exterior, and so those lead ins all look good. Because we are doing this on an iCNC controller and sending it to ProMotion Nest, which is software that will automatically offset, and that's where we will do all of our speeds and feeds and processes. But one thing we do have to check is on our plasma settings, we need our kerf width to be 0. If you are doing this to run on a table, or you're running this in Design2Cut, or you are running it in FlashCut, you'll want to go through and choose all of your settings and leave your kerf width alone so that it offsets it. For my school, we use ProMotion Nest. It is going to offset my kerf on the controller of the machine, so we need our kerf width to be 0, otherwise it would be double offset. So make sure that kerf width set to 0. Now, if you look, my ornament is out in the center of my piece. So the easiest way for me to fix that is just to come up here and click True Shape Nesting. None of the settings matter. We're going to leave the count on 1, and the nesting direction doesn't matter. We hit Start Nesting, and it will kick that down into the edge with a 1/4 inch minimum distance from the sheet, from the edge of the sheet. We say OK, and that moved it down into the corner so that we're not cutting way out in the middle of our sheet away from our 0, 0. And then we can go ahead and export our G code by clicking this button and saving that G code to a flash drive. And then that code is ready to go to our CNC plasma cutter.